Locked in limbo.
They advised us, do this so that she gets in the system, and hopefully the system will help get her into a...
Make her a criminal.
Yeah, exactly.
When she has a mental health problem.
Yeah.
Reviving an indigenous language.
We're honoring the generations before that had things taken away, and hopefully we're going to enrich the generations to follow.
Unraveling the mysteries in the sky.
Went across the sky this way and only lasted for maybe 30 to 45 seconds.
Around the country and in your community, CBS News puts the stories that matter in focus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Maurice Dubois. Over the next half hour, we'll travel across the country to uncover stories that have a major impact. And we'll talk with the storytellers as well, who've dedicated their work to elevating these issues front and center. We begin in Colorado, where the best available option for some people with mental illness is to be locked up behind bars. For decades, Colorado's jails and prisons have had no choice but to house the mentally ill in a system not at all equipped to address their complex needs. CBS News Colorado reporter Alan Genet tells us the story of a young woman and her family caught in a cycle of homelessness, arrests, and gaps in the system.
Kelsey!
It's a video call, a way family can connect with 23-year-old Olivia Shack, whom they call Lou. She's in the Jefferson County Jail.
Oh, there you are. I can see you better now. Hi, sweetie.
Yeah.
Have you brushed your teeth yet?
No.
You haven't, huh?
Still a little girl in some ways to her mother, Kendra.
Will you and Dad bail me out?
Will we bail you out? Well, honey, we can't bail you out. Remember, they're sending you to the hospital, remember?
Her mother and sisters are glad Olivia is in jail rather than back on the streets.
What do you like about it?
That's safe.
As a little girl, she was smiles and cuteness. In her early teenage years, Olivia was mostly like her sisters, posing for pictures and happy moments. But as she reached adulthood, her behavior grew erratic and voices began to interfere.
They hurt me a lot.
They hurt you?
Yeah.
At times, the voices she hears demand her attention.
I see you talking, but I don't hear any sound. Are you talking to somebody else?
No, they're like talking to me and like being rude.
Can you see them or you just hear them?
I can just hear them.
And sometimes she gets agitated with them.
Oh, wait, what? Leave us alone.
For her family, having Olivia at home or at her father's got tougher and tougher.
She loves us, she stays with us, but the drugs and stuff help, so she disappears. She leaves, she takes off, and then she'll come back, and then she'll bring strange people back to her house. Her dad finally was like, you can't be doing this, you gotta stay home, you have to do this. And she flipped out and attacked him, like viciously attacked him.
They had to ask her to leave. She's drifted in and out of jails, attacked a deputy at one jail. In some, she gets help, others not.
Denver kept her for a month, deemed her incompetent, dropped all charges, and let her walk out the door in Denver. 22
Back to
years
the
old.
streets.
Yep. Just let her walk out the door. 22 years old. Didn't contact us, nothing, nobody knew.
At times, she's lived in downtown Denver, and at other times in Arvada in a tent.
Do you think that was safe for you?
No.
Her family has tried a private facility, but its cost was high and she was too hard to handle. Experts told them, get her arrested.
They advised us, do this so that she gets in the system, and hopefully the system will help get her into a...
Make her a criminal.
Yeah, exactly.
When she has a mental health problem.
Yeah.
Going to the courts to have her committed, they found impossibly hard. And so she waits in jail for space to open at a state mental health facility.
We have not created the facilities to house people like your daughter, have we?
No.
Olivia's mother took to volunteering at Mission Arvada, where Director Karen Cowling sees severely mentally ill people on our streets as a failure.
I've seen it over and over and over again.
Is that too hard to get people committed who need it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like attorneys and letters and, advocates and, it's next to impossible.
When large institutions closed decades ago because they were the stuff of nightmares, says Mental Health Colorado's Vincent Atchity, Colorado never created the network of smaller facilities that were supposed to be a replacement.
So we committed to go in a better direction, and we've just never gotten there. And what we've got remaining is this abyss,
where people without a place to go fall. The streets and the jails and prisons who, after institutions closed, took over the job.
And we end up shelling out for the lowest possible standard of human health management, which is criminalizing people and keeping them in jails and prisons.
Jails are faced with the expense and responsibility of caring for people that need what they cannot offer.
We can't give them all the treatment that they need. We can't force medications on them like other facilities can, like the state hospitals can.
Karen Cowling sees an inequity.
Fortunately, most of our elderly with Alzheimer's wind up in a facility, and there's nurses there and they're taking care of them. But we have a lot of young people that are walking the streets with severe mental illness that need that kind of caretaking.
And it's costing more.
We're wasting taxpayer dollars, aren't we?
Yeah.
In a few places in the nation that have created appropriate facilities, says Vincent Atchity, it's been far less expensive.
The data suggests that those communities are spending something like 2/5 of what they're spending with the status quo process of repeated crisis intervention, referral to emergency departments, arrests, bookings, judicial processes, jail and prison stays.
And every time somebody like Olivia ends up in jail, there is a question about civil liberties.
If what somebody needs in that instance when they're putting cuffs on them is health care, then it's not just a waste of resources, it's a human tragedy.
They are Colorado's answers for many people with nowhere else to go, like Olivia, who may wait in jail for a year for a spot at one of the state's facilities.
Bye.
Bye, sweetheart. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye, honey.
Wow, and Alan Janae joins us now from CBS News Colorado. Excellent reporting, Alan. We really it really opens your eyes. You recently followed up with Olivia. What a story. How's she doing? And how's her family doing right now?
Well, a good question. You know, we've tried to keep going with this story, and I've now done 3 stories with Olivia and her family, who gave me this incredible access to allow us to share what's going on inside the system, which is really hard to get, and that is great. She's now moved to the State Mental Health Institute, which is in Pueblo, Colorado, and there she is getting evaluated to see if she is competent to stand trial. Now,
why do you think she was moved? I'm sorry to interrupt, but it sounds like because of your reporting.
Well, she was moved about 2 weeks later. Now remember, she spent 6 months in jail without conviction. And we're talking about civil liberties here, so we can get back to that. But she was moved over to Pueblo, which is where you go to get evaluated to see if you're competent to stand trial. And she's had 2 evaluations so far, neither of which she has passed. What happens from this point forward is that she is probably going to have 1 or 2 more, maybe more, evaluations before it's determined whether she is capable of understanding what's going on at trial. And if she fails those, then a judge would determine potentially that she is not to be prosecuted for this. The charges would be dropped. Then what happens is the next big question, right? It is entirely possible that when those charges are dropped, they'll say, okay, Olivia, you're free to go.
Wow.
Which her family, of course, does not want.
This hits you close to home as well, does it not? This issue in some way has touched your own family.
Well, it gave me a simpatico with these families. Now, I was a guardian for my developmentally disabled brother, who was developmentally disabled from childhood. Okay, so he came up through the system. All the way through, it was clear that my brother was not capable of taking care of himself. And then he eventually moved into proper community-based care, okay? So I had that understanding with my brother, but my brother's story is different. He's developmentally disabled, and he also did not hit trouble in his teenage years like Olivia did. So now you're dealing with an adult, and the family doesn't necessarily really even have rights to Olivia because she's an adult.
Exactly. So you're going to stay on this story some more?
Absolutely.
What can we expect?
And you know, here is the thing about this that people need to realize. Even if you have not an ounce of compassion for the people who are in this situation, for the people who are out on the streets every day. If all you care about is spending fewer tax dollars and lowering your taxes, we are wasting your tax dollars. And I can walk out of the studio right now, go downstairs, go out in the street, and within a block, I will probably find somebody who is living unhoused with a severe mental health problem. That's a problem we haven't done enough about.
High cost to society across the board.
Absolutely.
Alan Janae, thank you so much. And if you have a story for Alan, you can send it to kcncnews@cbs.com. We'll have much more for you when we come right back.
Preserving the past and cultivating the future.
Just like language, culture is a living, growing thing.
The South Jersey woman's mission to revive an indigenous language.
Welcome back to In Focus. We take you now to the Northeast, home to the Lenape, an indigenous people of the northeastern woodlands. Their historical territory included regions of eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and parts of New York. Right now, it's one woman's mission to revive the language of her ancestors. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Madeline Wright has more on the effort to preserve this indigenous heritage.
It's been said that language is the gateway to culture. Here at the Lower Cape branch of the Cape May County Library, the door to Lenape culture is wide open.
Hey, Kulamalsi Hutch. Just like language, culture is a living, growing thing, and it's always changing. But it's good to be able to try to reclaim it, and language is I would say, the first step.
Terry Hislop, who lives in Villas, is a clan mother with the Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania. She teaches other members of the tribe conversational Lenape, considered a dormant language with no native speakers. Hislop also leads a free class every Friday that's open to everyone.
I found out about it through the library system and said, this is very interesting. I've never seen anything like it offered anywhere else.
Students learn basic greetings like, hello, how are you? They practice numbers and animal names through a game of Go Fish.
And pull it up and through.
They even learn how to make pine needle baskets, a form of indigenous style art.
She's full of knowledge, easy to talk to, fun teaching, and she's got access to a lot of the history.
Reviving Lenape is a form of social justice. Hislop says it's an effort to right the wrongs of the past. These are pictures from the Carlisle Indian Industrial School in central Pennsylvania. It was among 408 Indian boarding schools the federal government ran in 37 states between 1819 and 1969. Last year, the government released a report acknowledging indigenous students were treated violently at these schools. Some students died at Carlisle and were buried there. When students first arrived at the school, they were separated from their families, required to cut their hair, and forced to convert to Christianity.
The first thing that they did in the residential schools was forbid the children from speaking their language, forbid them from singing their songs. And when you take away a language, you take away a culture.
And that's the importance of giving back the language.
What we're doing is we're honoring the generations before that had things taken away, and hopefully we're going to enrich the generations to follow.
Creating a vibrant future by keeping traditions alive.
Fascinating, Madeline. Thanks for joining us. And as we look at this story, is Terry a one-person show here, or is she taking this on solo, or are there similar efforts going on around the country elsewhere that you know of?
There are similar efforts going on both in Pennsylvania and elsewhere. For example, there's a class taught by another clan mother of the Lenape Nation, Shelley DePaul. She teaches this class at Swarthmore College to college students. She's trying to raise awareness and bring back a language that's been dead for years.
What was your starting point for this? I understand your family was into Native American culture as you were a kid.
I've always been interested in Native American history and culture, and it stemmed in large part from my father. He grew up in 1940s Mississippi. He worked alongside Native Americans picking cotton on the plantations to earn some cash as early as 7 years old. So growing up, Native Americans were always in the back of my mind. And when Native American Heritage Month came up, I thought this was a perfect story, a perfect opportunity to tell Terry's story. I feel it's so important as a journalist to provide a voice to underrepresented communities.
It sounds like more stories are coming. What's next for you?
Well, Terry's class coming up next year. I'd love to be able to showcase how she's continuing her mission to preserve Lenape language. A lot of languages, unfortunately, are dying. According to the U.S. Bureau of Indian Affairs, there are 167 indigenous languages in the United States, the most commonly spoken of which is Navajo. But by the year 2050, there are only going to be 20 indigenous languages left.
Wow. Madeline Wright, thank you so much. Fascinating story. And if you have a story idea for Madeline, you can send her an email, mwright@cbs3.com. More of In Focus right after a break.
Unraveling the mysteries in the sky.
It looked like several vehicles, and then it broke apart, then it streamed out, and it just faded in the sky.
The surge in UAP sightings sparks national intrigue. Are we on the brink of a groundbreaking discovery, or is it a matter of national security?
We turn our attention now to the sky. Commonly known as UFOs, the unknown objects have a new name and new attention now from the government. There have been 800 reports of unidentified anomalous phenomena to investigate as of this past April. That's up from 650 reports in August of 2022. In Maryland, almost 2,000 people have reported seeing something unexplained in the sky over the past 2 decades. CBS News Baltimore investigative reporter Mike Helgren takes you inside the mysteries in the sky.
This is a UFO, unidentified flying object.
America has long been fascinated by whether there's life outside of Earth.
Reports of flying saucers are nothing new.
And whether that life is trying to somehow contact us.
If you saw a UFO flying over Baltimore, what would you do? Would you be afraid?
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely. This year, Congress got serious about what used to be called UFOs, now called UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomena, objects seen in the skies that defy an easy explanation.
Almost invariably, the response is, well, the public couldn't handle the news. That's totally bonkers.
The government is investigating at least 650 potential sightings since 2004.
It's heartening to me that so many people are coming forward now. We're getting significantly more reports than was the case just 6 months or a year ago.
Peter Davenport has tracked hundreds of reports from Maryland on his website. He directs the National UFO Reporting Center.
1,923 reports from the state of Maryland. There are UFO reports coming from probably most cities in the country.
Many of the thousands of reports worldwide are centered on the U.S. East and West coasts, the Middle East, and the South China Sea. Experts disagree about whether the UAPs are extraterrestrial, but agree there should be no stigma about reporting them.
Right now, we need a system where pilots can report without fear of losing their jobs.
Which brings us to one of the latest unexplained sightings.
It went across the sky this way and only lasted for maybe 30 to 45 seconds.
Greg Facello of Port Deposit recently went outside to plug in his car and saw something very strange flying low over the skies of Cecil County.
Oh my Lord! If it was a shooting star or a comet of some natural occurrence, I wouldn't even have bothered to send it to you. But this thing looked made by some intelligent life form.
Is the search for life elsewhere?
A few weeks ago, NASA called for better data and more study of these objects.
Do I believe there's life in a universe that is so vast that it's hard for me to comprehend how big it is? My personal answer is yes.
Some are concerned about the risks UAPs pose to military and commercial aircraft, and whether the mysterious sightings are part of surveillance by China or Russia.
These pilots, they see it as urgent for a national security reason to have domain awareness. They could crash into these objects.
It looked like several vehicles, and then it broke apart, then it streamed out, and it just faded in the sky.
Facello may never know what flew over him in Port Deposit.
It could be extraterrestrial life. I don't know. It didn't look natural.
Like so many others, he questions what's really out there.
Whatever it was traveled across the sky.
Oh my Lord!
It was nothing like I've ever seen before.
The mysteries in the sky.
Nothing like we've ever seen before. Mike Helgren joins us now. Fascinating story. got our attention, got all your viewers' attention. I understand this thing struck a nerve. Thousands upon thousands of people watched it and reacted. How many? And what are they saying?
Maurice, we had more than 400,000 views on our YouTube page alone, plus tens of thousands more at cbsnews.com. And as for the man, Greg, who you saw in the story, a lot of people think that what he saw, that was Starlink, that was SpaceX satellites. And there were a number of reports in the area at that time. But there are a lot of these craft that are just unexplained right now.
But he's convinced he saw something that was way out of the ordinary.
He definitely did. And he said, I don't want to, I want people to take me seriously here because, what I saw was so unusual to me that I immediately grabbed my camera. And that's what we're seeing a lot more of now, too. Thousands of people taking pictures, taking videos, and there's actually a nonprofit that we heard from in the piece, and you can upload all of that online now.
What's your next installment in this front?
The future of it is, as far as coverage, is looking at what Congress is going to do, looking at what lawmakers are going to be doing, and also looking at the continuing reports that we are seeing. I mean, we're just outside of Washington, D.C. We're seeing so many thousands of reports just in our area alone.
All right, you have our attention. Please come on back with what you find out.
Will
next.
do.
All right, Mike Helgren, CBS News Baltimore, really appreciate it. And if you've got a story idea for Mike, you can email him at mhelgren@cbs.com. And thank you for watching this episode of In Focus, featuring the work of our colleagues from across the country at local CBS News stations. We have more than 5,000 people, many of them behind the scenes, living and working in the cities you care about, around the country and in your community. CBS News puts the stories that matter in focus. Until next time, I'm Maurice Dubois.